Hey guys, Todd Hart, the oil guy, and I just want to welcome you to what I'm calling my Living Out Loud series. I mentioned in a previous Facebook Live that I was inspired at the doTERRA convention to be a little more vocal with my doing this business and talking more about the business. So part of that is me kind of living my life out loud and sharing with people what it is that I'm doing, the thoughts I have, in hopes that it'll inspire other people to want to do something in their lives and achieve something that they've been wanting to do. So that's what this is about. I come on here without a script, and I have a kernel of an idea. Usually my green screen is my inspiration, and what's on there is my inspiration, or at least the seed of where I want to go. And so if it seems there are times where I'm like not as polished, I do this for two reasons. One, there's a pressure of being on live Facebook where there's not a second take. So you've really got to learn how to become a good speaker. And so I want that practice. So I do that for me. The second reason is I have a lot of people on my team and they're really passionate about essential oils and they want to share it with other people, but they're so afraid to have that conversation and they want a script. And life doesn't come with a script. Life is ebb and flow. If you're into boxing, it's bob and weave. And so I'm hoping that this also inspires them, that I'm putting myself out here without a script and having a conversation. And that's what I think all need to learn to do, is to have a conversation in this world. So today we're talking about spaces. And this is a picture of my floor in my yoga studio in our home. And that's my mat on the right. And on the left is a 3x4 taped off space. And I'll explain that in a second. So the mat, if you know anything about yoga, and you have to come to your mat, and it's an opening, it's a discovering, but you can never achieve that discovery, that opening, unless you come onto your mat. And they usually say that at the beginning of a yoga class: come onto your mat. And your mat is a space. So from my discussion today, the yoga mat is a space. And you enter that space and there's an opening and a growing and a discovery that takes place there. So next to that, I have a 3x4 taped off room. And when I was at convention this year, there was a woman there speaking. Some of you probably know where I'm going with this. And I want to give you the information on her name. It's Immaculée Ilibagiza. I may be probably botching the heck out of that, but she has a book called Left to Tell. If you go to Amazon, Left to Tell, you'll find the book there. And by the way, little side note, I'm going off track for a second. It's a live conversation. If you do a lot of things on Amazon, instead of going to Amazon, go to smile.amazon.com and you can enter a charity. And for those doTERRA people that are out there that watch my videos, you can enter the Healing Hands Foundation. And every time you buy something on Amazon, which I do a lot, they'll donate a portion of the sale to the charity that you choose. And if you don't have a charity, I recommend the Healing Hands Foundation because they do amazing work. But if you like somebody else, like the American Cancer Society or some other charity, then I encourage you to do that. And just remember, each time you go to Amazon, go to smile.amazon.com. And once you log in, your charity will pop up and a proceed will go there. So just a little fun fact. So why I'm talking about Immaculée is from Rwanda. And she was away at university, I believe it was the UK. And she was living the life of a college student. And exactly what that entails, having fun and learning, and your whole life is ahead of you and you have a bright future and it's an exciting time. And she went home for holiday, and I may get a little bit of the details wrong on this, but the important part is the space. And when she was there, civil war broke out, and there are warring factions within the Rwandan government, and one tribe took over, and their goal now was to kill the other tribe. And that was, they wanted to kill them. I'm not using this for any kind of like dramatic effect. They wanted to kill all of the people. So her dad wanted to keep her safe while this was going on. So he sent Immaculée to the opposing tribe, who is a friend of his. And she said, but that's now our enemy. And he said, no, he'll keep you safe. He's my friend. He'll keep his word. So she went there, and as she walked away, something told her to turn around and look one more time at her family, because it'll be the last time she sees them. And she was in her head saying, that's crazy. I'll see them again. I don't want to turn around. But she did. And later on, you find out it was the last time that she saw her family alive. Her entire family was killed, as were a million or so other people that were part of her tribe. They were slaughtered, and she went to stay at this person's house. And the reason I have 3x4 is that she lived in a 3x4 room. It was a bathroom, and they put like a dresser in front of it so you couldn't see the door. And she couldn't speak to anyone she was there for 91 days, it turns out. And she couldn't talk to anybody. She had to be quiet. They had a radio playing, so she knew what was going on. So she's hearing that her people are all being killed. I believe there was a window. She could peek out the window. She could see soldiers walking by, and their only mission was to find members of her tribe and kill them. And there she was in this 3x4 room, the same square footage as your yoga mat, 91 days. And the only food she would eat is what the family would give her. They would give her leftover scraps from what their children didn't eat, and they would sneak that into the room at night, but they weren't allowed to speak to her, and she was locked away to protect her. And there was a time that came when, and I encourage you to read the book, because she talks about her internal, because she could only talk in her head, and she was talking to God, and just her relationship with God of, I don't believe in God. Well, wait a minute, I'm talking to God, so there must be a God. And it's incredible. And she becomes this person that, had she not entered that space, she would not have become the person she is today. She couldn't have learned what she learned in that 3x4 room at a university, from a book, from a story. She had to enter that space and for 91 days live the life that she lived to become the person she is today. And she would have never known who she is today unless she entered that 3x4 room. And what I left out deliberately until the end is that there were 7 other people in that room with her for the whole 91 days. So next time you're on your yoga mat and you're in yoga class, invite some people over, 7 other people, and just stand there on the yoga mat just for a minute. And imagine living for 91 days in a space that small. So this inspired me to come up with today's live Living Out Loud series. And is there something that you want in life? Is there something you want to achieve? Do you have a goal that you want to achieve? Do you have a dream? Is there something you would rather be doing? Is there something you want to be doing? And what I encourage you to do is enter that space. Go do it now, today. Go do it. Because if you're not in the space, you'll never know what you need to know to do that and to achieve that. You'll never know the person you'll have to become to achieve it. You'll never know the person that you have the potential to become until you're standing in that space. So again, if there's something you want to do, enter the space. You can't learn what you learn from yoga without entering the mat, getting on the mat, entering that space. And Immaculée couldn't learn what she learned without getting into that space and standing there with 7 other people for 91 days. And I really encourage you to read her book because it's beautiful or the journey she went on, the discussions she had all in her head with God, the anger, the letting it all go. I can't even go there. It's so emotional to me. So this just inspired me to want to share spaces, enter the space, because until you do it, you have no idea who you are. And you may enter it and realize it's not what I want. This is not what I thought it was going to be. And that's okay. It's okay to try and fail, enter the space, leave the space. Immaculée couldn't leave the space. She was stuck there for 91 days because if she left the space, she'd be killed. But it's okay for us. We're safe. We have the ability to enter it and try it and see who we become and who we were meant to be on this planet and in this lifetime. So that's all I wanted to share today, is just spaces, and let Immaculée inspire you to you. I mean, she lived through that, and she then was able to forgive the people that killed her family, and now has a relationship with them, and was able to let go of that hatred and that anger and find love. And her journey is such an inspiration. So I encourage you to read the book and then think about that 3x4 spot. And especially if you do yoga and you're on that mat is not really big. And imagine living in that space with 7 other people for 91 days. And again, I've said this before, life is short. We think we only have one ride on this merry-go-round called life. So I encourage you to do what you want to do. No one is going to come to you and put their arm around you and say, hey, I'm here to, grant you 3 wishes. I'm your genie in a bottle. You're your genie in a bottle. If there's something you want in life, go out and create it. You don't have to know everything. What's the expression? When you jump, the safety net will appear. Don't jump off a building, but you know what I'm saying? The expression means the universe, God has a way of, when you put it out there that you want it and you start to take steps towards it. There's a great saying in Islam, take 1 step to Allah, Allah will take 2 steps to you. I just love that, because all you have to do is put out a little effort, and then God, the universe, whatever your belief, responds to it. So enter the space, see who you were meant to be, enjoy the journey. You only got one, and see who you were meant to be on this planet. I love the journey that I've been on. I love the person that I'm becoming. And this is part of my journey. This right here, me on Facebook Live, is a space that I'm entering. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying coming on here and just talking and trying to be concise and have a message, knowing that people might be watching it. And, you're so afraid of screwing up, but yet I'm putting myself out here, and I'm willing to be vulnerable, and I'm willing to take chances, and I'm willing to grow. And if you're willing to do all of those things, you can have anything you want in this life. Just go out and do it. So that's it. I'm Todd Hart. I'm the oil guy. And Bob Dylan has a great line from one of his songs, "Fare thee well. Fare thee well, my friend."